And good afternoon, everyone. This is Kilo Charlie 9, Victor Kilo Victor. My name is Jim, and this is the Friday Afternoon QSO-VLOG Network. This is a directed network, and I am net control. If at any time during this net should an emergency arise, please notify net control. We'll stand by and allow those in need to access this frequency. Is there any priority or emergency traffic at this time? And hearing nothing, we will continue. This net is all about ham radio. If you have a radio you want to check out, give us a shout. We're recording now live till 5, and then we'll post it up on YouTube, so you can come by later and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, and that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, where we're now featuring about 1,070 QSO-VLOG Airchecks. Also this afternoon, we're running 4 Internet SDR receivers, monitoring Rochester, New York, Milford, Pennsylvania, Atlanta, Georgia, and Arlington, Virginia, trying to get a better copy on our 100-watt friends. Now, the audio from these 4 SDR receivers comes up on a 6-position rotary selector. Also on this selector is our local receiver audio. And today, our local receiver is running 2 large 10-foot vertical magnetic loop antennas, one aimed north and south, the other east and west. The north and south mag loop can be rotated. They are selected by a 3-position rotary selector. Position 3 of this selector is a co-phase option that many times is 3 to 4 dB hotter than mag loop 1 or 2 by themselves. We do use a lot of rotary selectors in our shack, mainly because there's nothing faster than a rotary switch for comparing multiple signals. Also today we'll be running our input source indicator, so when we switch from the Internet SDR to the FT990, you'll be able to hear the switch and see the switch. You'll have to check it out on our YouTube QSO video later on, after we get it posted in a couple of days. Well, those are our working conditions. How about yours? This is the Friday Afternoon QSO-VLOG Network. And now, let's check in and see if Charlie, K1GZL, is on frequency to bring us up to date on the latest 40-meter band propagation. Charlie's QTH is up in northern New Hampshire, near the Canadian border. Charlie, got a copy?
Yes, Jim, beautiful.
A copy?
Yes, Jim, beautiful copy, 10 over 9 on this beautiful sunny day, the warmest in quite a few days, up to 52 degrees. 3 or 4 days ago, we had 6 inches of snow. That makes 225 inches for the season, and we expect a little bit. But I have copy, Jim. I'm not sure which SDR or direct you're copying me better on, but you're just like you're right in the room. Go ahead.
Roger, Charlie. Well, I went around the horn, and I think Rochester has the best signal at the moment, Roger.
The best signal at the moment, Roger.
Okay, Roger and Rochester. Yeah, very, very fine. As far as propagation goes, I did have a QSO with Ian, VK3MO, early this morning, about 55 miles, 80 kilometers northwest of Melbourne, and I asked him the question, since you're going into your winter time, what is the situation on this COVID-19 virus and all that? So here was his answer.
73 from Victor Kilo 3 Mike Oscar.
Here we go.
Primo under control. I think at the moment Charles Swing in course. We're just coming up to winter. What that will do, I really don't know. But we've had a minimum of, we've had a few deaths, but not that many. I get Spain and Italy. We've come up well, and I guess we've come up better than North America. I guess it's million. We're very low now, and I guess Spain and Italy are right up the top, and the US is somewhere down the line. certainly is not the highest biggest pistol. Anyway, it's very good to keep away from. Anyway, that's it as I understand it, Charlie.
Okay, and that was that. So it's all over the world at various degrees, Jim. Go ahead.
Roger that. Charlie, I had a little difficulty in copying the mail on that one. I'm not sure exactly why, but we'll talk about that later. It did not copy very well. Roger.
Not copy very well. Roger.
Okay, well, Ian was saying that it's not that bad yet, but they're coming into winter and they're going to have to watch it. Go ahead.
Roger that. I could hear him, but it was just a difficulty in understanding. Maybe it's our conditions. You were probably about an 8, whereas normally you're like a 10 or a 12 over in on the Rochester SDR. So that makes a difference, Roger.
That makes a difference, Roger.
Oh yeah, right now you did drop a little bit, but we've had some magnetic problems. Magnetic problems where there's been a lot of QS Baker, Jim, and that can really upset things at times.
Roger. Yeah, we'll have to huddle. Maybe it's might be something in the time aspect of our QSO-VLOG net that we might have to shift up or be a little bit later, depending on what the propagation is for about 600-mile range. Roger.
Propagation is for about 600-mile range. Roger.
Yeah, I think probably, Jim, if it were an hour later, 1 hour later, it would be much better. The sun would be lower and the band would be stronger. Go ahead.
Roger. Well, I'll take that into consideration and see if we might rearrange that to where we open at 4:30. Roger, instead of 3:30.
Roger, instead of 3:30.
I think that probably would be better. Would be better because you're getting daytime absorption, a lot of daytime absorption. Of course, that is more noticeable on 80 meters, 75 meters in the daytime. You don't go very far in the daytime on 75 with the absorption. But you get the D layer, the D is in Denmark layer in there, and it really absorbs, especially on 80 meters. So, I think probably an hour later, Jim, would be far, far better. Go ahead.
Roger. Maybe, depending on what your schedule is, maybe you could give me a listen about 4:30 and just to compare, and we'll talk later, but just to see what 4:30 is doing as opposed to 3:30, if you depending on what your schedule is today.
Yeah, all right, let's do that, and I'll see you in 50 minutes. I'll see you in 50 minutes, Jim, 50 minutes, okay? Plus or minus this frequency, or as close as I can get, depending on QRM. Go ahead.
Roger that. So let me say threes to you now, Charlie. Thanks for dropping by, Roger.
So let me say threes to you now, Charlie. Thanks for dropping by, Roger.
Roger. I'll see you at 4:30 Eastern.
Roger, threes. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. I'm Jim, and this is the QSO-VLOG net from now till 5. We will be recording live, and then we'll post it up on YouTube, and you will be able to drop by in a couple of days and check out your audio. YouTube is going through massive changes at the moment. They're putting in a new studio and trying to delete the classic studio, but I'm kind of reading the comments, and the classic studio is still much more preferred, it seems, as the new thing they're trying to introduce. So, but they are causing a great deal of conflict. Me personally, trying to ferret my way through the new YouTube stuff. I prefer classic myself. Anyway, this is KC9VKV. We'll be recording now live till 5, so if you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout. KC9VKV listening.
You want to check out, give me a shout.
Romeo Kilo Station, come back slowly with your call sign again, please.
Kilo Station, come back slowly with your call sign again, please. Kilo 2, India, Romeo, Kilo.
Okay, yeah, what's the letter after 2?
Okay, yeah, what's the letter after 2? Okay, it's Kilo 2, India, Romeo, Kilo. Kilo 2, India, Romeo, Kilo. The name is Joe, Juliet Oscar Echo.
Okay, I got the call as Kilo 2 India Romeo Kilo, and what was the name again?
It's Kilo 2 India Romeo Kilo, and what was the name again? The name is Joe, Juliet Oscar Echo.
Again, I barely have a copy. You're about a dB and a half above my noise level. I'll tell you what, why don't you, if you can, come back and give me about 10 seconds and tell me about your antenna system, and I'll look around and see if I can find a better path. Roger?
And I'll look around and see if I can find a better path. Roger? Oh, okay. Echo. Number 210, Greenwich, antenna. It's a 42-foot ground vertical. And it's got the MFJ tuner out at the antenna. And we're only running 100 watts. So 100 watts of the power. So back to you.
Roger that. Well, I went around the horn, and I wound up in Arlington, Virginia. And you were still about a 3.5 over their noise level, and about a 3.5 over most of the SDRs. So maybe it is, if we could work on your equalization, Tad, maybe I could copy the mail better at the 3.5 dB above noise signal. What radio are you running, sir?
dB above noise signal. What radio are you running, sir? I'm on the Kenwood TS-890. Kenwood TS-890. Whiskey 1, November, America.
Whiskey 1 station, stand by. The frequencies in use in the moment.
Whiskey 1 station, stand by. The frequencies in use in the moment.
K2IRK, gosh, give me your name one more time. I still haven't, I don't think I've copied your name correctly. So come right up on that mic and give me your name phonetically, please.
Correctly. So come right up on that mic and give me your name phonetically, please. Okay, the name here is Joe. Juliet Oscar Echo. Joe. Like G.I. Joe. So go ahead.
Yes, sir, I got it that time. I thought you were saying Charles, but the spelling was all wrong. So I got it now, Joe. Okay. Do you have EQ on board on that radio? Roger, Roger?
Do you have EQ on board on that radio? Roger, Roger? Yes, there's an EQ on it. It's got 18-band equalizer, but I'm not quite sure on how to run it.
You have, that's a 8-band, is that a Roger?
That's an 8-band, is that a Roger? I think there's 18. It's a TS-890.
I'm not familiar with that, but I don't think it would be an 18-band EQ. I don't know, though. But what you need to do is get some more highs in that microphone for a little bit better articulation. I realize now that your EQ is quite extensive, so why don't you tell me what the knobs are and what they say, and we'll try to figure out what to do, Roger?
And what they say, and we'll try to figure out what to do, Roger. Okay, well, it starts from 0 and goes all the way to 5.100 hertz. It's, I put it right now on high boost. Put some highs up to it. Did that help at all?
What frequency did you boost, sir?
I
frequency did you boost, sir?
Well, I put it in high boost, and it boosted up to 1.2, to 1.5, and to 1.8.
Roger that. Roger that. And you have boosted. Do you have any boosts left? You have boosted. Do you have any boosts left?
I can lower it. No. I'm not quite sure what to do.
Yeah. Well, actually, what you want to do is get up there towards the top, and also, what bandpass are you running on your radio? You need to be 100 to 2900 bandpass on your radio for openers, Roger. 100 to 2900 bandpass on your radio for openers, Roger.
Yes, that's what I'm running. 100 to 2900.
100 to 2900. Was that a Roger?
That's a QSO, it's a Roger.
Okay, so then what I normally do is I keep the mid-range flat because what an equalizer is all about, equalizing the top end to the mid-range and the bottom end to the mid-range. So if you boost the mid-range, it's so much harder to strike a balance between the top and the bottom because it has to go further to reach balance because you boosted the mid-range. So I would take, on your equalization, I would take everything from 800 cycles to about 2.2 KC. I would put all those flat, plus or minus 0. No cut, no boost, just in the flat position, Roger.
No cut, no boost, just in the flat position, Roger. Okay, I'm taking them all down. I got them down to
Okay, so now what I want you to do is go to your ALC with mic gain in hand. Go to your ALC and adjust your ALC where it reads a mid-scale to 2/3, mid-scale to 2/3 on your ALC by adjusting your mic gain, Roger.
ALC by adjusting your mic gain, Roger. Adjusting I got about 1/2 to 2/3 on the ALC.
Okay, so you have done that, Roger?
Okay, so you have done that, Roger? Yes, I've done that.
Okay, now I want you to put your compressor in line, engage your compressor, but only at a 3. Get your compressor online, but just at a 3. 3 out of 10, 30 out of 100. Just a third of the compressor's capabilities, Roger.
Just a third of the compressor's capabilities, Roger. Okay, I got the process at a 3, so I'm not getting much ALC.
Okay, now go to your mic gain and do what you need to do to get that ALC meter running mid-scale to 2/3, Roger.
That ALC meter running mid-scale to 2/3, Roger. Okay, we'll try it. Okay, I got around about 50% right there.
Okay, now you want to be just a little bit more than 50%. You want to be mid-range to 2/3. Mid-range to 2/3, about the distance between mid-range to the end of the scale for the ALC, about in that area between mid-scale and the full range, about 2/3, Roger.
And the full range, about 2/3, Roger. Okay, let me check this out.
Okay, I think Mother Nature's almost pulling the plug there. You're down to about a dB above my noise level. Come back and talk to me for just a minute. Let me see where you're going signal-wise.
Talk to me for just a minute. Let me see where you're going signal-wise. Okay, I think about 2/3, and don't know how everything else is.
Roger, I'm seeing your compression level or your dynamic range, and it looks perfect. Your 3 dB dynamic range, which is exactly where you want to be. I wish I had a better copy on you, but your EQ, as far as what I can tell, sounds perfect. So I wouldn't change a thing for right now. Maybe later, next Friday, maybe you could check in, and we might have a little bit better signal, and we could to double check that EQ. But I think it sounds just fine the way you are, Roger.
Check that EQ, but I think it sounds just fine the way you are, Roger. Okay, well, thank you very much. We'll try it this way, and we'll see what happens. I appreciate it. I've been listening to you for about a year now, and I finally got a chance to get in.
Roger, Joe. Well, I appreciate you checking in, and like I say, I wish we had a better copy, but it is what it is, and I think we did the best for what we had to deal with there. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search, hopefully I can fight my way through YouTube's absurdities. that will probably not help my cause if that gets back. But anyway, give us 48 hours to get it uploaded, and when you go to YouTube, do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor. That will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. We have about 1,070 QSO-VLOG recordings at the moment, but you'll be looking for one entitled My Group Aircheck 4/24/20, today's date. My Group Aircheck 4/24/20. Roger?
My Group Aircheck 4/24/20. Roger? Okay, well, thank you very much, Jim. We'll look forward to checking that out on YouTube. Very good. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon. This is K2IRK.
Roger, Joe. 3 side way, sir. You have a most pleasant good afternoon. And gosh, here we are on our SDRs, and I'm trying a new Georgia SDR. This one is in Simon's Island, but it kicked me off after 20 minutes, which is an habitual problem with some of these SDRs, but I think I'm back online with Simon's Island, Georgia now. So this is KC9VKV. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
So this is KC9VKV. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Now, Milford is down also. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. We're going to try to bring our Milford SDR back up. Let's see. Well, gosh, I guess it's got too many folks on it, so it's not letting me get back on. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
Whiskey 1, Norway, America.
Whiskey 1 station, come back with your call sign, slowly, phonetically.
Whiskey 1 station, come back with your call sign, slowly, phonetically.
Whiskey 1 station, this is KC9VKV.
Whiskey 1 station, this is KC9VKV.
Gosh, must have been just passing through. Could hear Whiskey 1, that's all I could hear. Then it went somewhere. Anyway, this is KC9VKV, Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. We'll be here until 5, recording live, so if you have a radio you want to check out the audio, give me a shout.
If you have a radio you want to check out the audio, give me a shout. Delta 1 Charlie.
There is a Delta 1 Charlie. Delta 1 Charlie, is that a Roger?
Delta 1 Charlie. Delta 1 Charlie, is that a Roger?
November Delta 1 Charlie. Yeah, we've talked before, and you have to get my audio set, but strange current. Whenever I get off the 80 meters, they tell me that it sounds muddy and there's something like RF in it. I don't know what.
Okay, so I am copying you on Arlington, Virginia. And give me your call one more time, slowly, phonetically, please, sir.
Slowly, phonetically, please, sir.
November Delta 1 Charlie. Norway, Denmark, 1 Canada.
November Delta 1 Charlie, Roger.
November Delta 1 Charlie, Roger.
Roger, roger.
All right, I'm copying you about 3 dB above my noise level. What is the name there, sir?
Copying you about 3 dB above my noise level. What is the name there, sir?
The name here is Jim, Juliet India Mike.
Oh, I think I can handle that, Juliet India Mike. That's my name, so I can fathom that. And what radio are you running, sir?
I can fathom that. And what radio are you running, sir?
I'm running the ICOM 7610, and we set it up before, and we went in there, and you had my big treble all set for me, and we went in there to the drive and set it at 65%, and everybody was telling me it sounded like a champ until I got on 80 meters. And for some reason on that band, everybody says, oh, it sounds like it's got interference on it.
Gosh, I have no idea. You know, a setup should follow you through the bands. The only thing could be possibly that, I'm not really sure. Do you have full output, radio output on 80 meters, 100 watts?
Output on 80 meters, 100 watts.
Right, yeah, it's same everywhere. SWRs are good. How does it sound on 40? Sound okay?
Yeah, like I said, I don't have a great copy on you signal-wise on any of the internets. I went back to Rochester. I think you're about 2.5 dB above the noise level in Rochester, New York. What is your location, sir?
In Rochester, New York. What is your location, sir?
I'm near Daytona Beach, right by St. Augustine, Daytona Beach, right here on the northeast coast of Florida. And yeah, normally I guess the band's not cooperating. When I talked to you last time, you said it had a good signal, but it's I'm doing about 1,500 watts right now, so wow, conditions must really be horrible.
Yeah, I am hearing some kind of something there in your audio. It has to do with peaks, and it sounds like it might be just a tad dirty. I'm not real sure. What amp are you running, sir?
Sure. What amp are you running, sir?
It's Expert 1.5.
Repeat again.
Repeat again.
It's Expert amplifier 1.5K.
Roger, what's your drive to it?
Expert. Roger, what's your drive to it?
It's I guess about, it's very low. It's about 25, 30 watts.
Roger. Okay, let's do a little experiment. Come down on your mic. Well, you can do a power out reduction. So take your power out down to where your amp is only doing about a kilowatt. Roger?
Is only doing about a kilowatt. Roger?
All right, let's see where we're at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be right about there.
All right, I'm copying you probably about a dB and a half, 2 dB above Rochester's noise level. And so tell me about your antenna system for a moment.
Tell me about your antenna system for a moment.
Okay, I'm running an off-center fed dipole, and I've got one leg of it up to about 75 feet, and the other end of it kind of floats down to about 55 feet. About 200 feet of feed line, and let's see, that's about it. The high power antenna with a 5K 41 balance. Go ahead.
Roger. Okay, let's revisit peak, which would be quick to peak. Roger, quick button to the left-hand side of your radio to drive, peak to drive, or quick to drive. Roger.
Quick to drive. Roger.
Roger, I'm back at the drive. We took it last time from the factory default up to 65. It's at 65 right now.
5, 5.
5, 5.
6.5.
All right, let's take it back to 5.5, and I think what might be happening, I think your amp may be maxed out, and then when drive accentuates the positive, the amp is kind of taxed to be able to respond to that. So let's take our drive back to 50. Drive back to 50%, Roger.
Drive back to 50%, Roger.
Factory default 50 that started at last time. 50, 50, 50. How about that?
All right, and then come back to your normal drive for that amp. Bring it up to whatever you normally run that amp at.
Bring it up to whatever you normally run that amp at.
There's the normal drive. The wattage is coming back up to where it was at. It's about 1400 right now.
Roger, and what is your drive level?
Roger, and what is your drive level?
The drive gain is at 50, and RF power is at 86%.
Yeah, what is that amplifier capable of max out?
That amplifier capable of max out.
It'll go right about 1600 watts.
Roger that, roger that. Gosh, I'll tell you what, can you turn the amp off for a minute?
What can you turn the amp off for a minute?
Yeah, turn it back on. I can't even copy you without it. Turn it back on, Roger.
Okay, it's back on right now. It's back on. Yeah, 100 watts wasn't doing it.
Okay, what I'm hearing is it just sounds like overdrive distortion. Again, dump your amp off again, and let's see if I can copy you again. Okay, I can copy you at -5 on my local antenna, and it sounded all right. So come back with the amp again, and let me hear you now.
Okay, there we go, back with the amplifier. The amplifier is back on.
All right, it sounds like that you don't have any much frequency content in the audio other than mid-range. So let's see if we can add some lower frequencies to that. What's your EQ status on that radio? Wait a minute, let me just back up here just for a second. Is that the same microphone that we tuned on that radio with before?
Roger, it's a Ohio 781, the Papa Romeo 781. And the TX stage is set at -2, and the treble is +3.
Roger. Okay, so what I'm thinking that might be happening is you could be getting some RF back into your audio. It could be getting some RF back into your audio. What is your mic level setting right at the moment?
The mic gain is at 80% right now, 80.
Okay, and you're getting your normal power out on the amp?
Yeah, it's about normal right now.
All right, now this is a test that will see if you're even close to picking up some RF in your AF, and that is to take your mic gain. Now I don't want you to say anything, but I want you to take your mic gain from 80% up to 100% key, and then touch around your microphone. Don't talk, but just leave it keyed, and then touch around your microphone where the line cable comes into the microphone, and then around front. And what we're trying to do is see if we have any stray RF around the shack there, and if you do, you may pick up an oscillation when you move your mic gain on up 2 clicks hotter than what you normally will run it. That would indicate that there is RF lurking just below the situation. And then when you have it boosted up like that, then touch around the microphone to see if you can induce maybe some more RF into your AF. Roger.
That doesn't appear to be anything. I don't see anything on the scope. I went all the way around the connector and down the cable and around the microphone housing. I didn't see anything on the scope or notice any fluctuation.
Roger. What I am hearing is some distortion that it sounds like it's non-linear in nature. In other words, it just seems to be cutting out from time to time, not all the way, but slightly. So can you, let's see, let's run that amp. I got a better copy on you now. Let's run that amp back to where it's doing about 1 kilowatt. Just take your power out level down to where you're running about 1,000 watts on peak. Roger.
Okay. Let's see there. That's 996 watts. 996.
Okay, and tell me about your antenna system.
Okay, like I was saying, it's a alternating dipole with a 4-to-1 balance. It's basically working fairly well when the noise is operating. I've got a delta you can try. That might help.
Okay, come back up on power like normal. Bring her back to whatever you normally run on that amp.
Okay, there's full power output again, full power. It looks like it's fluctuating about 1400 right now.
Roger. I'm hearing some distortion regardless of what level you're running the amp. So I'm thinking that it's the radio. I'm not hearing it clear enough to when you're on barefoot to tell for sure, but it does tend to indicate that there is something going on with the radio. Now, what we might try to do is crank in a little more bottom end. You're pretty mid-rangey right now, so I would say, can you go to EQ and tell me what you got there?
All right, the bass is set to -2, and the treble is +3. And then I've got my transmitter bandwidth set to wide, which is 100 to 2900 is what it says there. That's the maximum on my width, is 100 to 2900.
Yes, sir. Okay, and what did you say the bottom end was?
100 is the bottom. 100 is the bottom, and the bass is -2, and the treble is +3.
Okay, take your bass 2 clicks up hotter than what it is. Bass 2 clicks hotter than what it is.
Okay, there's bass 2 clicks hotter, which would be 0. That's the neutral position for the bass.
Yeah, I hear distortion in there, so I don't know what to tell you. Are you running your compressor?
Let me get out of the menu and I will tell you. The compressor is off.
He sounds fine. He sounds like crap.
Oh, thank you, sir. You said your compressor is off?
Yes, sir. It's compression is off.
Roger. Well, it's not major, but I do hear a little distortion there. So, but you sound better with a little more bottom end than where you were.
Okay. Yeah. And whatever the problem is, it seems to, like, if I go on white, nobody hears it. I go down to 80. So I thought it was an antenna situation, so I would change antenna. Right now I'm on a Delta boost, so it's a different antenna. So it doesn't matter which antenna I'm on. I tried a headset microphone. I've got a radio sport headset. I tried that, and they didn't say it's the same.
Yeah, it sounds like it's right at the main frequency, and the main frequency sounds to be about 1.5K, somewhere in there. That it just really feels rough at that frequency, and of course that your radio only has 2-band EQ, Roger.
Yeah, I used to run an EQ on it, and then after we did the setup, I took it off, and I was just running just radio, and I was getting rave reviews on it, and then when I figured doing settings, I jumped on 8 meters, and everybody jumped all over me.
Roger. Has anybody said anything about it being too wide or anything like that?
No, have not heard that. I can go narrow if that helps, but I think that would cinch it up a little bit.
No, tell you what, add 2 more clicks of bottom end if you've got it. Let's see what we can do with a little more bottom end as far as to balance to that mid-range.
Plus 2 on the bass, plus 2 on the bass from 0. We just came from 0, now we're plus 2.
Roger. And what mic is that again?
PR 781. Papa Romeo 781.
Roger. Okay, let's add 1 more click bottom end boost and see where that goes.
Okay, here we are with Hi-O PR 781. TX bass plus 3 on the bass.
Okay, I would pull that one back out, so just plus 2 on the bass, Roger.
Okay, plus 2 on the bass, and our treble is set at plus 3.
Roger. I think that's probably about the best we're going to do. The other thing would be, do you still have the supplied stock hand mic?
Yeah, it would take me a little hunting to get that. It wouldn't be a really fast swap. It might be a next Friday thing, but yeah, I could probably retrieve that.
Roger. Yeah, we could eliminate the mic as having some problems by just switching to the hand mic. That is, that is an exceptional hand mic. Works well on the 7300 and the 7610. Just beautiful, So I mean, everybody's in a rush to get those desk mics on there, but that hand mic just works beautiful. If you just pull it to your mouth and work across it, don't work into it, but across it. But yeah, maybe next week we could play around a little bit with that and just see if the distortion continues after we have switched mics, Roger.
Switch over to the radio sport mic. That's also a IC mic, like the ICOM. I believe this PR781 is dynamic. Is that correct?
I think so. What is the other one? Electret?
All right, Joe. I don't know what just happened, but you just went in the tank that time. You were like 5'9" and you just disappeared.
Oh, Roger. Well, Mother Nature, she unpredictable. That's what makes amateur radio so interesting. You just never know what's going to happen from moment to moment, Roger.
That was lovely. I can change over to that other IC element on the other one really fast. I can be on there in seconds.
All right, let's do that. Go ahead and change mics and see what happens there. YEW, gosh, we're still trying to work with Jim down there in Florida, but you give me a shout. Give me your call sign right now, Roger.
It's Kilo Bravo 2, Yankee Echo Whiskey. Name Harris Guy, Golf Uniform Yankee, and I'm in coastal North Carolina.
I got Kilo Bravo 2 Yankee, what?
Yankee Echo Whiskey.
All right, sir, next on the list. Let me wrap up with Jim down there in Florida.
KC9VKV, this is there's the other microphone. Is that any better or worse?
All right, this is KC9VKV in QSO with Jim, Nancy, David, 1 Charlie down in Florida. Jim, come back. What I want you to do is go to your ALC and make sure after you have switched mics that your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3 with the new mic. Roger?
Roger. It's at about, oh my God, that's hot. It turns that. Okay. That should be about mid-scale to 2/3 right there. How about that?
Okay, so we're still running the EQ, what was that, +2 on the bottom end, +2 on the top?
I believe we're 3 and 3. 3 and 3.
Okay, and tell me about your antenna system.
Okay, the antenna system is a high-power, off-center fed 80-meter dipole. It's up 70 feet on the high side of it, and that's what we're running down here in Florida today. How's that?
Roger. Not much difference between mics, so I'm assuming that that one that you're running now and the other one are both dynamics. Roger.
Okay. Yeah, this one here says IC on it, and that's the way the guy told me to order that one when I got it.
Oh, okay. So it is electret?
Yes, sir. This one is electric, and the 781, has the blocking capacitor in it for the voltage, and yeah. So I believe this is the same style of the OEM microphone.
Roger. Well, it's a desk mic, not a hand mic. Roger.
This one is a headset boom that I'm on right now.
Oh, I got you. Okay. I think it's. I'm just thinking about your bandpass. A lot of times we'll just suggest that you take all 3 of your bandpasses and put them in the 100 to 2900 reading, because that way you only want to run that radio in the 100 to 2900 mode. So if you put all 3 of those mode selectors in the 100 to 2900 mode, there's no way that you can operate it any other way than 100 to 2900. Roger?
Roger, yeah, I'll go in there and set that, because I'm looking, the wide is 129, and then the mid and the narrow are like 529. I'll go ahead and change those.
Yeah, just put them all 100 to 2900, Roger. You can do that later. I just wanted to be sure that we are in that upper bandpass 100 to 2900.
Yep, they're all set there. The compressor's off. There's on if that makes any difference.
Yeah, what we normally recommend is that compressor be on, but only at a 3. Compressor on, but only at a 3. And if you do engage that compressor, then you need to go back to your AOC to be sure your level is correct. Because anytime you make a change, like putting a compressor in and out, or changing microphones, all that stuff, you need to go back to your ALC just to verify that you are running mid-scale to 2/3.
Roger. That's at a 2. Yeah, but seems like the mic gain is way more sensitive than it has been.
Right. Well, that sometimes is an indication of RF in the AF, but I can't. Usually, what I've got, I'm running a little ART preamp on my condenser mic, and I'm running it probably at about 3 o'clock. Let's see, on the input control, about 3 o'clock. So I just, I can take that and turn it up to about 6 o'clock, which is probably about 15 or so dB extra gain, looking for RF in the AF, and as you increase your mic level from above the normal level, if you do have any RF lurking just in the shadows there, as you increase your mic gain, you will run into that RF and it will start an oscillation. That is the indication that you do have RF in the AF is usually uncontrolled oscillation. So, but normally, like I say, I'm running at least 15 dB below max. But when I'm looking for RF leakage, I do turn it all the way up to see, and then I feel around the microphone to kind of add some influence of RF into the mic to see if there is any RF lurking. And so far, luckily, there is none on my situation anyway.
Yeah, it looks like it could be quite difficult to find. If I pause, I can see on the scope there's a little bit of something that is picking up, but I have no idea where it's coming from.
Don't know. I think we're probably about as far as we can go. Did you want to go back to your other mic on that radio?
Which one did you said they sounded about the same?
Yeah, this one might have just a little more articulation on it.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'll continue to use this one if it's got more articulation. That's what gets you through the pileup.
Yeah, Roger. And I don't think, like I say, I think I do hear a little distortion, but it's not major. And, I doubt other people would even, except them guys down on 80 meters. And, if you drink enough, you can hear a lot of things.
Oh, yeah, and there's, never get on 80 meters during cocktail hour, because you can catch all kinds of activity down there. But, yeah, I try to keep everything running the best that it can go. You can see I've got new microphones and whatnot, and I'm not scared to put something into it. It's just the problem is when you can't find it, that's so frustrating.
Roger, and it could also be in the amp. A nonlinearity in a amplifier could do the same thing as far as introducing distortion. But usually that is more related to peak distortion, in that the amplifier just doesn't have the wherewithal to continue in a linear fashion. So then it becomes nonlinear, particularly on the peaks. Roger.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. So I turned it down to mid-power setting, maybe running less amplifier. Maybe if you amplify dirty, you get more dirty, right?
Roger. I do hear less distortion, I think, in that mid-range. I'm not exactly sure why there would be so much audio in that. Sounds like in about the 1.5 to 2K range. It... right in that area that I noticed any distortion, if there is.
Well, we've narrowed it down that it's not in the microphone, because both of them have it. So now I'm really at a loss.
Well, next fallback position would be swapping radios, just out of curiosity. But maybe we do that next Friday, Roger.
Okay, yeah, I've got a 7300 that I use from time to time as a bug-out radio. Maybe I can throw that up on here and see what it does.
Roger, yeah, I have both of them come up with the 7610 first, and then switch to the 7300, Roger.
Okay, yeah, and if it does that on the amplifier, then we know, hey, maybe that's the culprit. I'll go back and run through all the cables again. Everything appears to be okay, but you never know. But I won't hold it up. I know there's some guys in line, and I want to thank you for the great service that you provide to the amateur radio community, and I'll talk to you again, Jim. 7-3, November Delta 1 Charlie.
Roger, Jim, and we'll be posting this in the next 48 hours to YouTube. So if you want to go to YouTube and do a call letter search for KC9VKV, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page, and you'll be looking for a QSO entitled My Group Aircheck 4/24/20, today's date. My Group Aircheck 4/24/20. Roger?
Roger. Thanks, Jim. And T1C.
Roger, Roger, Jim 3 Z-Way, sir. And I think we have KB2YEW waiting in the wings. Are you still there?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon. Again, my name is Guy, Gulf Uniform Yankee, and I'm in Coastal, North Carolina.
Roger that, roger that. Well, tell me, I need to find a little bit better path if I can, because I'm only copying you at about a 3 over my local noise level. So give me about 10 seconds or so and tell me about your your antenna system, Roger.
Roger. Yeah, we actually just got finished tuning it up today. Horizontal delta root, cut for 40. It's pretty much resident across the whole band. Right now, it's about a 1.2 to a 1.3 SWR where we are now. And I'm running a Yaesu FT990.
Roger that. That was a FT990?
Roger that. That was a FT990.
Yeah, I think I lost you there. Come back with. Did you say FT990 radio?
Lost you there. Come back with. Did you say FT990 radio?
Yes, Thomas 990.
Okay, I just switched over to my vertical mag loop, and I've got a better copy on you there. What's your name, please?
The name here is Guy, Gulf Uniform Yankee.
Roger, Guy. And what's your location again?
My location is Coastal, North Carolina. I'm right on the border of North and South Carolina, about 22 miles from the coast.
Roger that. And gosh, what mic are you running?
I'm running a Hio 781 microphone.
Okay, the audio looks pretty good. Just to double check on a couple of things, we usually recommend that you run your compressor at about a 3. Engage your compressor running at about a 3. Roger?
Roger. I have my mic gain barely cracked open, and also my processor on the radio barely cracked open. My mic goes into a board, and I do all my heavy lifting on the board. I have my processor barely cracked open on the board, and I also have let me get rid of VHS there. And I also have a little bit of equalization going on.
Roger. I'm not hearing any distortion, but you should be running your mic level input to where you're not maybe overdriving the input. What is your radio mic gain setting at?
It's around the 8 to 9 o'clock position on the knob. Like I said, the mic gain is barely cracked open.
Yes, sir. Now, do you have an output control of your outboard stuff? Do you have an output control level of your outboard stuff?
Yes, certainly.
Okay, I would turn that down, and I would turn your radio mic gain up until you were probably at about 10:30 or 11 o'clock. Around 10:30 or 11 o'clock on your radio mic gain. And if you run it at that position, you can be guaranteed that you're not going to be overdriving your front end. And then make your output control of your output equipment correspond to what you were looking at the other way around.
Okay, I raised up my mic gain on the radio, and now I'm going to bring down my output control. Okay, my output control I brought down on the board. I brought it down, and the ACL was right where it's supposed to be. Is there any difference in my audio?
I thought I might have heard some hum. Just give me a dead key for about 3 seconds. Yeah, I did hear some hum. So what you want to do, you need a better wall wart, but in lieu of that, compromise on that radio gain. Bring it back to about halfway between where it was and where it is. You know, about halfway your radio mic gain, about halfway between where it was and where it is, Roger.
Okay, right there, it's about halfway. And my power supply is loud. It's in a cabinet, but I'm still hearing it, and I believe that's what you're hearing.
Okay, now bring your outboard control up to where your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3.
9:30 position. I'll probably still be getting a little hum.
I'm sorry, I think we doubled. What you want to do is take your outboard output control and bring it up to where your ALC is running mid-scale to 2/3.
Roger, roger. Yeah, that's where we have it just about now. Okay, I could bring it up a little more. I could bring it up to about there or so. I think that's a little bit better. How's it sounding now?
I think we're coming along now. And you do have your compressor in at about a 3, Roger?
Roger, roger. My compressor on the radio, which they call a processor, I have it barely cranked open, and I also have a little compression on the board going on too. I think the board's a lot cleaner than the radio is. So that's why I use the board to control the audio rather than the radio.
Yeah, so, well, anyway, yeah, I wouldn't suggest running both, so I would take that's a Yaesu FT990?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah, the Chinese strike again on that EQ, on that compressor. So nix the 990 internal processor and just use your outboard, but tastefully.
Okay, right now I turn the processor on the radio off. I lowered down the mic gain to where it was. I brought up the output on the board, and my ALC is just about where it's supposed to be. How does it sound now?
Roger, now did we just walk around the corner and wind up right back where we were?
I believe so there, Jim.
Roger. Okay, what's your situation EQ-wise top end on your outboard?
Okay, I have a 10 hertz, a 2.5 hertz, and a 100 hertz adjustment. And I have them all opened up for a little bit. I guess about the 3 o'clock position, or maybe even a little less.
Okay, so you're essentially running a 3-band EQ?
That's correct.
Okay, now that's not parametric. Those are fixed hinges?
Yes, sir, it's fixed at 10, 2.5, and 100 hertz.
And when you say 10, you're saying 10K?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what is your 10K position right now?
My 10K position is about the 1 o'clock position. Okay, right now it's at 1 o'clock. Right now I brought it up to the 5 o'clock position, and I just brought it back to 12 o'clock. This is 12 o'clock. This is 9 o'clock. This is negative, and 12 o'clock position is neutral, and we're back up to the 3 o'clock position.
Okay, once did you have it at 5 o'clock or 5 clicks? I forgot what that was, which it was.
Okay, this is the 5 o'clock position. So, excuse me. This is the 5 o'clock position. This is the 3 o'clock position. And this is the 4 o'clock position.
Roger, Roger. Well, you know, the full up, I guess that is, on the top end, I think sounds best. You are EQing quite a bit away from the pass band, if you say the pass band is 3K. I assume you don't have a pass band control on that radio. It's just 2.4?
That is correct.
All right. So, but I think that 10 sounds pretty good. Full up there, you know. It is EQing from a place higher than what it's actually going to pass, but it is adding some articulation to it, Roger.
Okay, this is about the 430 position, and then this is wide open. This is wide open at plus 15 dB.
Yeah, I'd pull it back to 4. I'd pull it back to 4, double check my ALC for level.
Roger, roger. Okay, we're back at the 4 o'clock position, and the ALC is right where it should be.
Excellent. Well, I think we've done as much walking around the street as we can do here.
Okay, pretty good. Thank you much. Appreciate it. And so I think we're just about where we were. And you say we sound pretty clean? And you say we sound pretty clean?
Yeah, Roger, Roger, Roger.
K1GZL, Jim.
Roger, roger, roger.
K1GZL, Jim.
Hi, Charlie. What's going on there? What's my signal to you now, sir?
What's going on there? What's my signal to you now, sir?
Yeah, a little bit better, a little better.
Before you move on?
Roger, Roger, guy. 3's that way, sir. And yeah, if you get a chance, check us out on YouTube there. Go to YouTube and do a call letter search, Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, and we'll be posting this up in 48 hours. So you'll be looking, when you get to our QSO-VLOG page, you'll be looking for one entitled My Group Aircheck 4/24/20, today's date. 4/24/20, Roger?
4/20, today's date. 4/24/20, Roger?
Roger, roger. And I want to thank you so much. Thank you again for providing this service. And you have yourself a great day. Stay safe and stay healthy. This is KB2YEW, will be clear. 73, just thank you.
Roger, Roger, guy. 3's that way, sir. Have a great afternoon. Beautiful weekend coming up. And Charlie, evening, sir, or afternoon still.
And Charlie, evening, sir, or afternoon still.
Yeah, hi, Jim. God, there's about 20 stations calling you there all at once, so we're not going to stay on, but I think it's better than it was an hour ago, Jim. It is better because we're losing some of the distortion there. So I was up topping the Florida stations too well. The skip is not open. Topping the Florida stations too well. The skip is not open, and I'm not. I have no antenna aimed down into, especially the peninsula of Florida. So I just wanted to check with you, and we'll catch you next Friday, Jim. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Roger, Charlie. I'm just copying on Rochester, and you were at least 12 dB solid on Rochester. So yeah, we may be moving this to an hour later. I'll take it into consideration, and we'll see how it goes. Thank you for standing by there and giving me the report, Roger.
For standing by there and giving me the report, Roger.
Okay, no problem, Jim. I think it is better. Even if it were 5 o'clock, it would even still be better. It would still be better. But I'll leave it up to your decision. And if you make the change, I think you have my phone number. Give me a call and somewhere in the noon hour, and let me know. So the best, Jim, to you. KC9VKV, K1GZL.
Roger, Roger, Charlie. Well, it'll be in next couple of weeks, so nothing major that sooner than that. So we'll talk about it. But yeah, we'll try to figure out the best ideal time, because we do want to take advantage of the band as best as possible. 3's Charlie. We'll catch you later. This is KC9VKV and the Friday afternoon QSO-VLOG net. If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
If you've got a radio you want to check out, give me a shout.
3 Papa, Charlie Papa.
Kilo Victor 3,
Papa, Charlie Papa.
Papa, Charlie, Papa, come back with the whole thing again, please.
Yeah, very good afternoon, Jim. It's Victor Echo 3, Papa, Charlie Papa. Rob up here in Kincardine, Ontario. I won't hold you up too long. I just wanted to
do a quick, not too long, I just wanted to do a quick check-in with you. I added a crisper onto the Electret cartridge in this D104 microphone, and it seems to work pretty well. I also wanted to let you know that there is what seems to be a pretty good SDR online near Ottawa, Ontario, and you might want to copy this on as Victor Echo 3 Hotel Oscar Alpha, and I'm actually recording your show on it right now, and I'll email you the file so you can take a listen to it. It might be something to consider adding to your SDR receivers there. Back to you, KC9VKV, VE3PCP.
Roger. Yeah, I have run across those before. The thing is, though, see, they're north, and what I'm looking for is something kind of between us as opposed to north, because to really utilize those, it would probably have to be coming in from Greenland somewhere, Roger.
Probably has to be coming in from Greenland somewhere, Roger.
Well, actually, Ottawa is not that far north. It's not too far from Montreal. It's a little bit southwest of Montreal, so.
Oh, Roger that. But I'm saying to really benefit me, it would be like a relay from further north on up towards Greenland or whatever.
On up towards Greenland or whatever.
Yeah, no problem. Anyway, I just wanted to let you know about that, and the CRISPR I've added got a good group there today, so hopefully the CRISPR I've added sounds okay on your end.
Oh yes, the CRISPR, beautiful job. Nice S's, just kind of engulfing and evolving around your words. Just absolutely beautiful, sir.
Around your words, just absolutely beautiful, sir.
Okay, very good. Well, I'm glad that was working out, and thank you again for the tip on that. And I've added to, and I've got my compressor at 3, and my LC is running about half scale, so not just loafing along there, and just running 100 watts. Anyway, thanks, Jim. 7-3 for now, and let you carry on. KC9VKV, VE3PCP.
Roger. Well, I just managed to retrieve Milford PA SDR. It kicks me out after 20 minutes for doing nothing, kicks me out after a half hour for doing too much, but I did get it back, and you were like 15 over on Milford, so just beautiful, that last part. If you have any parting words that you would like to be in just absolutely in the clear at 15 over, come back.
In the clear at 15 over, come back.
Okay, very good, Jim. Yeah, Milford seems to like the signal from this area, and I'm like I said, I'm just running 100 watts out of the Kenwood TS850, and I've got a 4-band trap vertical hustler on the roof of the house here, so nothing special antenna-wise, but it seems to get me out there. Anyway, thanks again for being there, 7-3, and we'll talk to you again soon. KC9VKV, VE3PCP.
Roger. Now, did you at one time have a low antenna, like about 6 foot or something like that?
I do have a ground mount multi-band fan vertical that I built as well, and it works quite well. I've got 4 bands on it. I've got 17, 20, 30, and 40 on it. And the antenna that I'm on here right now, it's up on the roof of the house, and it's 10, 15, 20, and 40. It's a commercially made antenna, but the multi-band fan vertical is one that I built myself.
Oh, Roger that. Yeah, I thought I'd heard that or seen that or something, but you're doing great, man. Just absolutely beautiful. So thanks for checking in, man. And if you get a chance, join us next Friday. We'd love to have you. 3 is that way, sir. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG net. And we're running now live till 5, about 15 minutes. So if anybody's got a radio they want to check out, give me a shout.
On Friday. 7-3 again, and thanks for being there. V3PCP.
Sorry, man, we doubled. 3's that way. Catch you later. KC9VKV. Okay, so any other stations want to check in? This is KC9VKV listening.
This is KC9VKV listening.
Being in southeast Nebraska.
I'm copying southeast Nebraska on my local antenna. Come back and give me the call sign there in Nebraska.
It's November 0 Sierra Kilo N0SK, over.
N0SK, and what's the name there, sir?
Name here is Steve, and we're located clear down in the southeast point of Nebraska. Over.
Roger, Steve. And what radio are you running, sir?
ICOM 7800 with a Heil 781 microphone. Over.
Roger that. And just out of curiosity, what signal strength do you have me?
10 to 20 over.
Roger that. I'm copying you at about 6 above my noise level. Are you running at 100 watts?
Should be about 200 out of the 7800.
Roger. Yeah, I was 7 dB above my local noise level. I haven't, and right now I'm running my dipole. I would pull my mag loop around, but there's no use. You're doing just a beautiful job, Roger.
Yeah, thank you very much. You're banging in here. I've been listening a little bit. I can't really get the impression on this stuff. Sorry, the ALC. It's up about halfway now, but I'm running the mic at about 3 o'clock, which is most of the way open. Over.
Roger. Well, the whole thing is your ALC level. We usually suggest that you engage your compressor at about a 3. It's a token amount, but it does exactly what it needs to do at a 3. And then you would go, after you get your compressor in line at a 3, you would go to your ALC with a mic gain in hand and adjust your ALC to where it read mid-scale to 2/3. Roger.
Okay, when you say 3 on the compression, I'm not sure. On the 7800, it's a little pop-out button at the bottom, and it's at about 12:30 now. 0 would be clear down at about 7 on the clock face, so it's at about halfway up now. Over.
What we're looking for is about a third of the capability of the compressor, about a third of its capability. Roger.
Trying to squint here with my bifocal. It's bouncing up to about between 5 and 8 dB, and the scale goes up to like 30, I think, probably.
Roger. What kind of input control does it have? Does it have like a round knob with 1 to 10 on it, or how does that go?
Drive, locks, and all that stuff. Pops no numbers on it. So if I turn the compression all the way down there at about 7 o'clock, that's got a little mark on it. And now I'm bringing it back up to where I had it about 1 o'clock. So if I take it all the way up to 5 o'clock, now it's bouncing clear up 15 dB of compression, 10 to 15 over.
Yeah, compromise there. About halfway between where you, about halfway down from where you were at the last part of that.
Okay, now this is back where I was, and like I say, it's bouncing it around at about 5 to 8 dB of compression over at 1 o'clock on the dials.
Roger, let's call that close enough. And then move to your ALC and adjust your mic gain to where your ALC is mid-scale to 2/3.
Okay, ALC. Audio. Well,
frequencies in use, sir.
It's hitting half, but it's not getting to 2/3.
Where's your mic gain control at the moment?
Oh, almost all the way open.
What mic is it you're using?
781.
Roger. Okay, give me about 10 seconds and talk about your antenna system, and let me hear you.
Okay. Well, the antenna that I'm using now is a multi-band sloper. On the tower, the center is at about 75 feet. It's 40 and a bunch of several bands, higher bands all combined, because the beam is non-functional at the moment, so I just...
Kilo 3, Charlie, Hotel Bravo.
Sir, the frequency's in use. Do you not hear me?
Say that again? Say again, please.
I was talking, there was a station checking in saying the frequencies was in use. So, Steve, I think we're about there. Your dynamic range looks to be about 2.5 dB. So your average percent of peak modulation would be around 85 to 90%, somewhere in there, Roger.
Okay, how's it sound okay?
Yes, sir. Sounds good. Your EQ is just perfect.
Okay, I was adjusting the treble and bass on it here the other day and using the audio scope to see where I don't try to pretty much even across the scale and not have too much in the bass.
Exactly. Now, have you changed anything between now and when you first checked in?
Well, let's see. The mic gain is up a little higher, and compression is probably a little higher.
No, I meant as far as EQ.
As far as what?
Equalization?
No.
Okay. Mother Nature has a way of just sometimes taking the top off. You know, she does a little phase cancellation and it starts in the top end, and sometimes she's very sneaky and she just leaves it rolled for a duration of time, you know, and then she'll pull it off, and all of a sudden you say, hey, whoa, that's where it should have been. So I think she was doing a little bit of that just a moment ago.
Okay. Jim, I have your call as Kilo Charlie 9 Victor, Kilo Victor, is that correct?
That's a Roger, sir. And if you want to hear your audio, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. And on that page, you'll be looking for a specific Aircheck called My Group Aircheck 42420, today's date. My Group Aircheck 42420, Roger.
My Group X-ray.
My Group Aircheck, well, it'll be all spelled out on the title, Roger.
Oh, Aircheck. My hearing's not what it used to be there, Jim. Sorry about that. I have to repeat sometimes. Appreciate it very much helping me out here, and we'll see how it works. I get on and work AM with this range with MoFan groups most Monday through Friday mornings, and they're quite critical of audio, so I'll see what they think of it. You take care. Stay healthy, please. And thanks again so much. KC9VKV, N0SK.
Roger, Steve. 3 is that way, sir. If you get a chance, join us next Friday. Love to have you. This is KC9VKV. There was a station there that was breaking. You didn't get a call sign, though. Station, this is KC9VKV listening.
Kilo 3, Charlie Hotel Bravo.
Kilo Victor 3, uniform.
Station ending in uniform, come back with a call sign, slowly, phonetically.
Yeah, Jim, very good. Thanks so much. It's Kilowatt Victor 3 United, KV3U, name's Jeff in Pennsylvania. And just wanted to check in real quick, made some adjustments here a bit ago and thought I'd get your opinion over.
Sounds pretty good. Again, I recommend a windscreen, a foam windscreen, if you get a chance, Roger.
Okay, very good. Does that make a difference, over?
Yes, sir. It sounds a lot cleaner. And what's your, are you running the compressor at a 3 and your ALC at mid-scale to 2/3?
Yeah, I'm a little high on the compression, so let me back up the compression here just a bit.
Roger. Yeah, you want to be very transparent. There's no reason to, get crazy there. The compressor's only going to do so much one way or the other. Even if you're compressing 20 dB, it'll suck up when you stop talking, so it does you no good. So about a 3 I found to be optimum on the compressors, Roger.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, I backed it off a little bit. I'm using a Flex radio, so I had it on DX Plus. I'm back to just DX, over.
Yes, sir. Then check your ALC and make sure with your mic gain and make sure your ALC is mid-scale to 2/3.
Yep, very good. Yep, that is just about where it is. It peaks right at about 2/3, over.
Yes, sir. That's it. That'll keep you a 3 dB dynamic range, and then your average percent of peak modulation should be 80 to 85% average.
Okay, very good. All right, yeah, I want to make sure I didn't have any RF. I wasn't overdriving. I did some work here in the shack and did some adjustments, and thought I'd get a real quick check from you. So very much appreciate it. Thanks for what you do here, and I often listen in on Fridays, and really appreciate the service. Over.
Roger that. And just out of curiosity, what is your EQ? If you had just one click more top end, I would love to hear that.
Okay, hold on. Let me bump up just a bit here. Hold on. Okay, that make much of a difference? Over.
I think so. Tell me about your antenna system.
Okay, yeah, I bumped up a little more, yeah. Just running an inverted V up at about 50 feet. And I'm running a little bit of power here. I have almost a kilowatt, so. I bumped it up on the high end a little bit. Over.
Yeah, I think that sounds better. You know, the whole thing is when you get into somebody's noise level, the more articulated your audio is, the easier they're going to be able to hear you, even when you're just above their noise level, or actually even when you're under their noise level. That's when it really is important to have a well-articulated audio, Roger.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, very good. Yeah, it was probably a little flatter here than it could have been. So, okay. Well, I appreciate it. We'll hold you. Let's see if you can grab one more before you're done here. And again, appreciate your time, Jim. Best 7.3s, and I've got a little ICOM here I may try next week with you. So we'll see how that goes. KC9VKV from KV3U in Pennsylvania. Over.
Roger. And what was the name there?
I'm sorry. The name's Jeff. Japan Echo Foxtrot.
Jeff, is that a Roger?
QSL, Japan Echo Foxtrot. Over.
Roger, Jeff. 3-set waste there. Yeah, if you get a chance, join us next Friday. And I guess you know the drill about being able to hear your audio on our QSO-VLOG page.
I do. Yep, I sure will. I'll look for it here in a few weeks, and from there, I probably won't touch from this point. I think this microphone's pretty well set. Over.
Yeah, Roger, I would get the Gorilla Tape and tape her down, sir. Yes, sir. And it'll be a couple of days from now before we can upload it. YouTube is getting more ridiculous. They have a whole new studio in there, and it's a learning curve. And I have a feeling that they're not going to be successful because there's really a lot of negative comments about their new studio, so I just assumed them go back to classic myself. Anyway, Jeff, 3-set waste here. You have a great afternoon, a beautiful weekend. This is KC9VKV, the QSO-VLOG net. If you have a radio, we're going to take one more. Here it's about 2 minutes till 5. We'll take one more. This is KC9VKV listening.
Kilo November 4, Golf, Uniform Sierra.
Victor Alpha 3, Sierra Lima.
There was a Kilo November 4. Come back with the call sign again, slowly, phonetically, please.
Kilo November 4, Golf, Uniform Sierra, Portable.
A portable. Well, what's the name there, sir?
Good afternoon. The name here is Ken, Kilo Echo November from Angier, North Carolina.
Okay, I got the name is Tom, and you're in North Carolina. Is that a Roger?
Negative. Ken, Kilo Echo November. Kilo Echo November. QSL.
Your name is 10?
Roger. Ken, Kilo Echo November.
Ken, Kilo Echo November. All right. Well, we're getting close there. Are you in North Carolina, sir?
I'm operating in my backyard. I thought I'd throw up the buddy pole antenna, look at my ST891, and see if I can get any contacts, and I appreciate you taking my call.
Yeah, so I'm going to pull my vertical mag loop around to 109 degrees and see if I can copy you better on that than my dipole. Come back and talk to me for just a second.
Roger, 959 for QTH, but I've been monitoring the email and just been looking at things, but listening as you've been checking out microphones and input, but I thought I would at least give a shout out and appreciate you taking it.
Roger, roger, sir. Well, I am copying you fairly well on the Milford PA SDR. And what kind of power are you running, sir?
And what kind of power are you running, sir?
I'm running 98 watts. You okay?
Alrighty, 98 watts. And what kind of antenna system are you running, sir?
What kind of antenna system are you running, sir?
I'm running a buddy pole antenna with a
Copy, buddy pole antenna. Well, you're making the trip there. You're making the trip to Milford, Pennsylvania, anyway. I don't have that good a copy on you locally, and we're located just across the river from Louisville, Roger.
Louisville, Roger.
Roger, roger. Like I said, you got a good signal coming into mine, but I was just wondering how I was getting out, but I appreciate your feedback.
Roger that, roger that. And try one more time with the name. I want to be sure I get the name down. Phonetically slowly.
Name down. Phonetically slowly.
Kilo, Echo, November. Kilo, Echo, November. Kilowatt, Energy, Nancy.
Ah, Ken. My friend Ken. What? I can hear you now. Thank you, sir.
Hear you now. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate that, Jim. And I don't want to take too much of your time. I know that you're looking to QFY or whatever to quit, but I just thought I'd give you a shout. Thanks a lot.
Roger, Ken, 3's that way, sir. Sounding good in Milford, PA. We'll catch you later. And with that, we have turned into a pumpkin. My gosh. And so we got to get out of here again. I can't find the clothes. Never can find the clothes. I'm gonna scotch tape that close to something so I can find it to read it at the end. But until then, we'll just do without it. And I'll say thanks, everybody, for participating. If you want to hear what your audio sounds like, if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our QSO-VLOG page. We're running about 1,070 recorded QSOs at the moment. You'll be looking for one on page 1 that's entitled My Group Aircheck 42420. Again, the title, My Group Aircheck 42420. So with that, we'll say 3's, and we'll be returning this frequency to normal amateur radio use. This is KC9VKV Clear.